Hi students, in the previous sessions we saw the role of copy editors and the functioning of a bureau. So in today's session we will discuss the importance of style sheet in a publication. Style sheets help publications maintain consistency. So common elements such as story, text, headlines and bylines always appear the same. Style sheets inform writers and editors about spelling, punctuation and capitalization practices, so a manuscript can be consistent within itself as well as match the style of the publication. First element is the design and layout. The design and layout of the newspapers have changed to a great extent. They are being presented in a more creative and attractive manner. The earlier newspapers were simple in design. Today, there is maximum artistic approach in the designing of page of a newspaper. The advertisement is also a part of designing. Various designing elements like color, line, text, etc. are being used in a maximum effective manner. Similarly, the use of logos, symbols and other kinds of graphics have also increased. Here, we will have a look at the front pages of some newspapers. You can see that lead headline uses a bigger font. Font sizes of headlines become smaller from top to bottom. Now, let us look at some page layout elements. Newspapers use long headlines, large size fonts, too many photos and advertisements. A headline of a front page of a newspaper should be similar to that of the screen of the news headlines of the television. It is to offer the readers a quick look at the important stories of the day in a shortest possible time. Extensive photos, graphics and summary boxes and navigational tools might be used as effective tools to appeal to audience with comparatively low level of education. Advertisements in the first page of most newspapers appear on the right hand corner of the page at the bottom. The pages of newspapers have become very colorful and attractive. The news of various events is also given in a more colorful style. Modern newspapers incorporate color to grab the attention of readers. Some headlines are given red color. Infographics art is being used to present data which can be easily understood. Such types of graphics include bar charts, pie charts and pictographs. The graphics picture is given even of those photographs which are easily available in order to have a fresh test of picture. They are important in those stories where photos do not project exact and correct picture of the scene. Similarly, graphics can also be seen in case of those stories in which photos are not available, but the news is important. Graphics are often used even as filler for blank space. It has become very convenient for reporters to present various kinds of information. Graphics are used on the basis of imagination about medical, environment, education subjects. The emblem and logo may also given in some cases. Now, let us have a look at headline styles of newspapers. Now, headlines are used in more creative style. The headlines are given in various styles. Several new kinds of experiments are being done by newspapers in the case of presentation of headlines. Banner headlines are used when there is a major news event. A banner headline is a large headline in a newspaper extending across the page, especially the front page. Since digital media is the future, we can discuss some differences between designing for print and digital media. First one is changeability and life cycle. Designing for print is a static process related to designing for the web. And so, the proofing workflow and life cycle of conception are unique. With a print design project, budget restrictions make it prohibitively expensive to print off a fresh batch with every minor tweak. In case of spotting a major error after the page is sent to the press, printing has to be stopped and the whole process need to be restarted after making the correction. This means that the process of proofing a design before print should be incredibly thorough so as to avoid having to throw out an entire batch. When designing for the web, however, changes can be previewed and tested at every turn. Second point is engagement. The way viewers interact with your design is dramatically different from the screen to print. For digital media, you want to ensure that your design is navigable, intuitive and clear. In internet spaces especially, you should keep in mind that you are probably competing with any number of things for your viewers' attention. Furthermore, many users arrive in a digital space with a particularly informative goal in mind. When designing for these users, your work should function to facilitate their goal in browsing so that they do not bounce from the space immediately after entry. In printed media, you place the stories according to the priority. Page will be designed in such a way to grab readers' attention. Third point is senses. Printed media give you the opportunity to engage viewers on a physical level. Beyond imagery of what you design, you should also consider many of the physical aspects of the printing process. If the design is meant to be handled, the texture and weight of the paper, foam core or canvas print material should be considered. How the design appears is just one consideration, but a holistic approach to designing for print can reach viewers on multiple sensory levels as well. Although our thumbs do a lot of work scrolling, the digital design does not have the capability of engaging our sense of touch. Visuals are far and away the most important element of design for digital spaces, and so sensory design thinking can more or less focus exclusively on the looks of things. There are opportunities, however, to use video and music so as to appeal to more than just your viewers' visual fancy. Interactive elements can also work to simulate an immersive experience with your design. Fourth aspect is space and layout. Printed media present you as a designer with a finite amount of space to bring your design to life. Best practices of composition apply and can be followed to create an orderly design with visual flow. Issues of sizing should also be considered so that everything is legible once printed. Designing for the web is typically free from spatial constraints like this. To be sure, the concept of scale and sizing exists in digital design but is far more abstract on the web than it is in print. Digital designers can more or less filter, organize and scale everything as they like and don't encounter the issue of lacking space. However, this freedom from spatial constraints does come with some extra considerations. Screen sizes and browsers differ hugely, and it cannot be guaranteed that your design will look and flow the same from device to device. Digital designers often need to be familiar with the responsive design and be prepared to test across a variety of operating systems to ensure universal attractiveness and functionality of their design. Fifth point is color and resolution. Designing for print and the web is most concretely different in that they use various value systems for color and resolution. For digital design, PPI and RGB determine image quality. In printing, DPI and CMYK are the measurements. PPI stands for pixels per inch, and pixels are the solid colored blocks that compose an image. Designating the PPI of an image determines the complexity of its composition and therefore how large an image can be displayed. When displayed at larger dimension than its PPI, an image will appear pixelated and blurry. Designers for the web should strike a balance between using a high enough PPI that images are clear and high quality, but also small enough that image files are not so tremendous that they slow the page load speed. Page load times are another one of those functional considerations that digital designers need to be aware of as they work. While PPI refers to the actual size of an image, DPI has nothing to do with size. DPI refers instead to the density of pigment spacing in a printed image. DPI stands for dots per inch, or in other words, how tightly the ink dots are concentrated on a print. DPI is determined by the quality and settings of the printing equipment rather than any file settings on the image itself. A higher DPI printer will produce clearer, more attractive prints than a low DPI printer. RGB stands for red, green and blue, the three colors of light that a digital screen projects in varying combinations. 6-digit codes called hex codes define the spectrum of every possible permutation of these three colors. However, although the hex code may be consistent anywhere where HTML or CSS is used, not every display screen is calibrated the same. So, colors are not always perceived consistently from device to device. Designers tend to be good about calibrating their displays so that they always see the best representation of color. But the same can't be said for your casual internet user. This is of course something to keep in mind if your digital design includes subtle color differentiations. The color spectrum used in printing projects is CMYK, that is cyan, magenta, yellow and black, which refers to the different shades of pigment that printers use. A color's unique value is determined by combined percentage of these four pigments, which is a smaller quantity of permutations than what is possible with an RGB spectrum. However, designers who are used to working exclusively in digital mediums should be aware that colors do not always transfer from the screen to the print the same. Again, since monitors are calibrated differently, it is imperative that published projects be proofed to make sure the colors look as intended. External elements like the quality of the printing inks or the base color of the print material can also influence the vibrancy of design. Understanding these different terminologies and systems will help prevent confusion and keep your images looking their best. Design talent can transcend the medium, but not all design practices translate well from one medium to another. If you are used to working exclusively with print or purely digital, it may take a bit of time before you can reframe your thinking to work within the confines of a new medium and play to its strengths. The good news is that this kind of creative change of pace may just produce some great work. There is a particular style followed by newspapers when it comes to use of language. Having seen the design aspect, let us now discuss how newspapers use language. Newspapers have multifarious functions in society such as disseminating information, socialization, motivation, education, cultural learning, entertainment, integration, etc. Most newspapers focus on the readability of the material or news they present. They recognize that the way language is used is an important factor in enabling their readers to come back to them. The manner a news item is presented and highlighted depends on the ideology of the newspapers. This ideology controls and regulates language use. Of the different mass media, newspapers assume great significance as they deal every day with dissemination of current information pertaining to different aspects of human life such as social, economic, political and cultural, both at national and international levels. In a newspaper, headlines occupy a prominent position by summarizing the most important news of the day in a nutshell, which facilitates the reader with quick reading and comprehension. The choice of expression plays a vital role in making the headlines more effective. Thus, language plays a prominent part and it aims at educating the reader. Newspapers use simpler and colloquial forms of expression more frequently. Newspapers have also begun to use loaded expressions with sarcasm and cynicism because the growing middle class around the nation that buys and reads the newspapers is basically cynical about politics and politicians. The newspapers are educators of the literate and not so literate public. In order to establish their own identity, newspapers deliberately coin and choose their own language expressions. For example, there is a great tendency to combine various native words with English words to create special expressions. Further, in a democratic country like India, the newspaper acts as a powerful weapon in exposing the irregularities, shortcomings and failures of government policy and also function as an eye-opener of the public. But newspapers should not abuse their status and functions. They should be above bias and should be fair and impartial. The language used should be of high standard, aiming at educating the public not only in terms of news content but also in terms of language use. See these headlines and front pages to get an idea about the use of language and design in newspapers. So in this session, we saw the importance of style sheet in a publication. First we saw the use of headlines in a newspaper and the use of language. So you might have understood how important the usage of language in a newspaper. Then we also saw a little bit of digital media. That is because we have seen that many newspapers are shifting to the digital form also. So future digital will be more important. So we have to learn digital formats also. Most of you might be aiming a profession in journalism. So keeping in mind the journalistic ethics, you should be well aware of the style sheet and ideologies of the organization you are working with. Even if you are aiming for a career in print journalism, you should also develop the skills to work in a digital platform. That is of great importance for your future in journalism.